Hi everyone, good morning. Happy Monday to you. Welcome to Up with KREM. I'm Tim Pham.
And I'm Channing Curtis. Well, goodness, we have a lot to get to this morning here on the show. But let's start things off with a look at the forecast with meteorologist Thomas Patrick. Because Thomas, you have a busy day ahead as well.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be one of those summer-like days, maybe a little bit humid at times. But today, all in all, pretty calm out there. I think tomorrow night is going to be our most active time frame that we see with our changes starting to take place then. As for this morning, it looks like there's a little bit of cloud cover just off into the distance, but it has been thinning the last couple hours. So no threat for any rain or even thunderstorms for today, but our temperatures are already climbing up to 64 degrees. That's up a couple degrees just in this first hour after sunrise, and we'll see a lot of temperatures not only in the 60s, but probably 70s, 80s, and then 90s for high temperatures today. Most of the 90s in central Washington. Looks like Spokane will top out at around 87 today.
Happening today, the Spokane City Council is expected to make an emergency change to city code. This change comes amid calls for an investigation into Spokane's police chief, Craig Meidel. KREM 2's Brandon T. Jones is live outside of City Hall right now. And Brandon, you've been looking through this city code. What could these changes actually mean for the city?
Yeah, good morning, Tim. That's right. Well, moving forward, the emergency change would ultimately grant the police ombudsman the opportunity to go ahead and investigate officers under city charter. This all started earlier this year. The Spokane Community Against Racism claimed that emails between Meidel and businesses in downtown showed favoritism and inappropriate release of city records, including police reports. Meidel told KREM 2 News he was working with the downtown business owners who asked for help tackling crime. In April, some members of the city council called for an independent investigation into these complaints. Mayor Nadine Woodward declined to launch a look into Meidel's actions. According to city code, complaints regarding the chief of police shall be directed to the mayor and investigated by the city's human resources department. Council President Brianne Begg says the OPO has the authority to investigate officers under city charter, which has been compared to the city's constitution, but city code doesn't match.
They left out the ombudsperson investigating the police chief. And so we are going to fix that. We're simply going to remove the language that kept the ombudsman from doing it.
Mayor Woodward disagrees and has called the idea of an investigation politically motivated. Beggs denies this and says he has a good working relationship with Meidel, but that it's their responsibility to investigate claims such as the ones brought forward. Tonight's council is expected to begin at 6 p.m., where that emergency ordinance is expected to be passed. Reporting live in Spokane, Brandon T. Jones, KREM 2 News.
Brandon, thank you. And Spokane City Council also discussing several other ordinances. A lot of people are watching.
That's right. So the first of those ordinances, of course, is changes to city park rules. Right now, if you're in a city park after hours, it's considered a non-traffic civil infraction. But due to a reported increase in violent crime and drug use, there is a proposed change to make it a misdemeanor offense for being in a park after they're closed.
Second, the council will discuss amendments to the new public drug use ordinance. Last month, the Washington State Legislature passed new drug possession laws after the old law was set to expire in July. These amendments would align the city ordinance with the state law.
And third, the council is expected to confirm the appointment of Jarrell Haynes as the director for the new Office of Civil Rights, Equity, and Inclusion. Spokane Mayor Nadine Woodward announced his appointment last week. Haynes was previously the president of the Spokane Public Schools Board. Well, new overnight, a woman was killed while trying to cross the road. A driver going southbound on South Palouse Highway hit her yesterday afternoon.
And this morning, Palouse Highway is back open, but it was closed in both directions for several hours. Police do not believe impairment or speed played a role in the crash.
We know it was a pedestrian on foot, and that person's family is aware of it, and some of them are at the scene here as well.
The driver stayed on the scene and is cooperating with the investigation. This morning, we are in contact with police to find out what led up to the crash or if the driver will face any charges.
In the meantime, a Spokane family, including 3 children, was found dead inside their car in the Salmon River. According to the Idaho County Coroner's Office, a fisherman found the car upside down in the river. 36-year-old Calvin Miller, 17-year-old Dakota Miller, 10-year-old Jack Miller and 8-year-old Delilah Miller all died from their injuries. They were reported missing on Friday. The Idaho County coroner says no other information is being released right now, but we do know that the next of kin have been identified.
A man is sitting in the Spokane County Jail this morning for allegedly murdering another man. Deputies arrested 48-year-old Michael Perry on Saturday night. They say he murdered a man whose body was found earlier in the day at the Red Top Motel. This morning, major crimes detectives are still piecing together what led to the victim's death. The medical examiner has not released the victim's name or cause of death.
As of this morning, a judge still has not ruled on the 2 motions presented last week in the Moscow murder case.
This as Brian Koberger, the man accused of murdering 4 University of Idaho students, was back in court on Friday. The attorney representing the family of one of the victims, Kaylee Gonsalves, asked the court to clarify the current gag order in the case. He says it is too vague and doesn't allow the victims' families to freely speak. That order currently prevents those involved in the investigation or with knowledge of any evidence from commenting about it to the media.
I'm not asking as a witness to the case, which witness to the case, they've never ever told us in any way how we would be witnesses in this case, other than the conjecture that we may have potentially. That's not good enough to stop the free speech of the victim's family as well as myself.
The judge did not make a decision in this motion, so the gag order will remain in effect until further notice. The judge also heard a second motion regarding cameras in the courtroom. No decision was made on that motion either. The trial is set to begin October 2nd. Well, this case against the suspect in the murders of 4 University of Idaho students has generated a lot of interest on social media, as well as a lot of false claims.
One of those pieces of misinformation follows a recent change of judges. So Mark Hanrahan is here to verify.
On May 22nd, murder suspect Brian Koberger appeared before Latah County Judge John Judge.
You also have a right of silence. That right is protected under the Idaho and federal constitutions, so you can remain silent throughout these court proceedings, and that can't be held against you in any way.
In the courtroom, Koberger was formally charged with the murders of Madison Mogan, Kaylee Gonsalves, Xana Kernodle, and Ethan Chapin. This was the first time Judge Judge has been involved, leading one viewer to ask, was the judge changed unexpectedly on the Moscow murders case? Let's verify. Our sources are Latah County District Court, the Idaho Supreme Court, and the Prosecuting Attorney's Office for Blaine County, Idaho. First of all, yes, there was a change of judges in the case. In his first court appearance back in January, Koberger appeared before Judge Megan Marshall. She continued to oversee the case up until the grand jury issued its indictment. That's when court documents show Judge Judge took over. The reason for changing judges is due to the way that Idaho courts handle the flow of criminal justice cases. Before the grand jury indictment, the court was preparing for a preliminary hearing to determine if the case should proceed. As the Blaine County prosecutor explains, preliminary hearings are held in the lowest local court and without a jury. In the Moscow murders case, this meant the preliminary hearing was assigned to Judge Marshall in the magistrate court. The Idaho Supreme Court explains that magistrate judges hear less serious criminal matters as well as preliminary hearings. However, once the indictment came through, the preliminary hearing was no longer needed and the trial could proceed. At this point, the case was moved to district court, which Judge John Judge oversees. District court has jurisdiction over criminal cases and also includes a jury. So while there was a judge change, we can verify that no, it was not unexpected and was simply a part of the trial process. If you have any questions you'd like verified, let me know. Just email verify@krem.com.
6:09 and weather-wise should be pretty quiet for today, but tomorrow night is when we're going to start to see the changes take place weather-wise this week. The storm system that is over the Pacific Ocean and moving into British Columbia right now, that is going to arrive about 36 hours from now, tomorrow night. And when that happens, we'll get a chance for thunderstorms, certainly some windy conditions. As for this morning, though, just a little bit of cloud cover just trickling in from the east, but it is fading fast. So we should see a mostly sunny day today, and those temperatures climbing very quickly. We're looking at a temperature of about 81 by noon today, and probably mid to upper 80s this afternoon.